Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to the Midday News. The news is live on Joy 99.7 FM in Accra. In Kumasi, we are on Love 99.5 FM, together with over 30 affiliates across Ghana's 16 regions. We are on Sun City Radio in Keta, Radio 1 in Wa, and Menuveve FM in Aflao, Might FM in Tamale, in Kigli FM in Bole. You can go digital on Spotify, live on Facebook, and myjoyonline.com app. Coming up, the unending concerns of alleged vote buying that some say may have influenced the just ended NPP regional executive elections.
One delegate, one scholarship to America.
Like a marketplace where people dole out money, throw money out just to induce, entice, and get people to vote for them. It tells you that there's something wrong.
We have a review after 3 days of suspense, drama and tension, which saw the re-election of 12 incumbent regional chairmen of the New Patriotic Party. But is that enough for the party to win the 2024 general elections?
If you are not able to govern, you are not able to deliver on promise, I'm afraid all these things will come to naught.
We'll get to hear from the General Secretary of the party on plans to address the challenges that marred the polls.
There were issues with the rest of Council of Elders and Council of Patrons. There was an issue with the TESCON reps, for instance, and it took a very long time.
Also this afternoon, Savannah Regional Police Command has arrested 3 suspects, including Benin and Mali nationals, in connection with the murder of an Accra-based lawyer on the Bole-Bamboy Highway.
With the help of the intelligence unit of the region, we've been able to round up some 3 suspects, which we are profiling to see if they are the actual culprits.
Also this afternoon.
Imagine assembly member, a year you get 1 street light, a year. Assembly member, a year, 1 street light. North Suakope is developing. No thieves are in town. Thieves every day. No lights.
Danger on Ghana's longest bridge, the Sugakope Bridge, as commuters are attacked and in some cases vehicles knocked off due to darkness on the more than 600-meter stretch.
Because it is very dangerous to be walking in the dark on the river. So you can easily get attacked. Even cars can just stop and then just attack you, put you inside.
We are in Parliament as MPs express outrage over neglect of the bridge for 5 years. In sports,
GFA Ethics Committee's decision to dismiss allegations corruption against me has restored my image. Ibrahim Sanidara speaks to Joy Force.
We have that and more here on the Midday News with me, Emefa, Apawu. Stay for details. This is your home of independent, fearless and credible journalism. We start off from the election headquarters.
One delegate, one scholarship to America. Meaning, say wunu.
Sound bites from the just ended NPP regional elections. Ashanti regional chairman candidate Oheneba Edumbewa promising scholarships for delegates if he's given the mandate. Well, this will not happen as he lost the polls. This morning, a research and poster at the Kumasi Technical University is alleging some huge sums of money were released to delegates to influence the elections in the Ashanti region. We'll hear from the researchers shortly. But first, here's my colleague Elton Brobe of our political desk with a wrap.
Joy 99.7. movement. It is a movement stronger than Apata.
Divine Otuagoho, the incumbent Greater Accra Regional Chairman, emerged winner to secure a re-election. He eluded defeat by the skin of the teeth, winning by just 6 votes margin. He had 332 votes, whilst his contender had 326.
It simply means that the message from the delegates to us is loud and clear, that there is work to be done. It simply means that the performance in 2020 did not sit too well with them. That's my assessment of the outcome of the elections.
The margin of victory was relatively wide for incumbent executives in the Eastern region. Jeffrey Kweneduwado won a landslide victory, pulling 424 to beat his main contender Albert Kwadwo, who had 202. Most of the incumbents in the Northeast region retained their seats. Mohammed Adam Bantima Samba was re-elected the Northern Regional Chairman. The election was without drama, as some 6 persons were arrested by the police for engaging in suspicious activities at a conference venue.
That's Elton Robe of our political desk with details of that election. Political researcher and pollster at the Kumasi Technical University has revealed that some whopping sums of money were released to delegates in the election of the Ashanti Regional NPP executives. Dr. Smart Sapon says his research provided that these monies were to compensate the losses the delegates had incurred during the constituency elections.
They all paid. In fact, in terms of the payments ranking, the delegates told me it was one guy whose money was not coming. I won't mention his name. But already I said the 1,000. I said the whole constituency, 1,000. I changed 50-50. And I said,
was this time around? They didn't give the money to individuals. They gave the money to the constituency.
This time, the difference is that no candidate gave money to individuals. And I think that is a very good. Even though they still spent, it is better than those days when they were giving it to individuals. Yeah. So now they all, when they visit a constituency, they make sure all the 17 delegates are there. When they are going, then they leave them like 5,000 or 10,000. Then they share.
So every contestant would go and would drop money.
Yeah.
Are we looking for people who have the competence, or we're looking for the person or persons who have the money?
This time, my understanding was that they were helping them defray costs that they too incurred. You know, they too had just come from elections, and they had also spent a lot in securing their various constituency positions. So it was more of supporting them in what they have lost.
Well, we can also hear from political analyst Dr. Kwame Asasante saying that influencing delegates with funds or other promises is a trend that must be checked.
We see like a marketplace where people dole out money, throw money out just to induce, entice, and get people to vote for them. It tells you that there's something wrong at the grassroots with our democracy, because democracy does not, flow with behavior like this or habits like this. No, it's an aberration. And we have encouraged these things over the years. And what the laws on that, the elites have thrown them away. Nobody wants to enforce anything on that, because they themselves, who are the political elites who must enforce these things, are guilty. Of course, not all of them, some of them are guilty of this. So it becomes difficult to fight that battle. I'm not sure we are going to win that battle until the political elites decide that enough is enough, and that we want to have a clean state when we are, engaging in elections.
That's a political analyst, Dr. Kwame Asasante. It appears that the Ashanti region tops the allegations of vote buying. Nanaya Ojima monitored the elections there, joins us on the line with more. Nanaya, tell us what you observed regarding the movement of delegates during the polls and their interaction with candidates.
For most of the delegates who were led to the election area, they were to arrive at 9 a.m., but almost all of them came in before midday, around 12. So from my investigations, I saw some of these delegates queue beside a vehicle owned by one of the leading candidates. And in turn, they had their time with this candidate within the vehicle. At a point, I also saw some delegates enter washrooms, and these washrooms were actually seized by some of these aspirants. They take you there and have deliberation with the delegates in there. No one outside the delegate got access to the particular washroom. So, there were a series of meetings between aspirants and delegates at the venue, mostly before these delegates got access to the election area to cast their ballot.
Okay, that's my colleague Nanaya Jima there. We can hear from the General Secretary of the NPP, John Bwedu, saying that the party is investigating challenges that marred the weekend's elections.
There were issues with the rest of Council of Elders and Council of Patrons. I think that was resolved. There was an issue with the TESCON rests, for instance, and it took a very long time. At the end of the day, the Electoral Commission decided that they will even allow over 60 rests of TESCON institutions in Ashanti region to be part of it. There were a few issues with regards to some few constituencies that supposed to have been injuncted. Sometimes there is a difference between if one receives injunction and they are able to serve the Electoral Commission and they are unable to serve the party hierarchy. It makes it difficult for us to go by that decision because you may not know whether it is even true or not because it's there. So these are issues that create some of these tension and build-up.
General Secretary of the NPP, John Bwedu, I'll take you back to anti-graft issues, and there are calls for urgent steps to address corruption by public officers. The Code of Conduct for Public Officers, a proposed legislation that is yet to be passed despite discussions commencing more than a decade ago, has been tipped as a possible panacea to dealing with the canker of corruption. Asset declaration and lifestyle audit have also become topical in Ghana since the will of former CEO of the Forestry Commission, Kojo Uswefi, aka Sir John, went viral on social media. Shraj boss Joseph Whittal says a robust legal regime is the way to go.
It's not enough to do the lifestyle audit. You need a robust asset declaration regime with a robust publication regime with excellent verification system and a resourcing of the institution that will do the verification.
It's very difficult for me to give a mark or to say they are doing well or they are not doing too well because I have not
What's
done
the
a
difficulty in doing so,
but
especially
there are
when government does not express any
corrupt
such
cases
difficulty?
that are going on unattended
my concern
which
is
I
simply,
think the government can do better than it has done so far.
Okay.
In fact, the
Okay, specifically which ones?
Bill was virtually competing
You have
with
heard them, you know all of them.
Right to information bill.
Because I wanted you to be specific on the ones you're talking about. The highlighted ones.
I'm just
Auditor
saying that
General Daniel Domelevo has been sharing his views on the matter.
asset declaration can help us identify unexplainable wealth accumulated during office term, but then it is not comprehensive enough to address all the other issues. Some other mechanisms may have to be added. For instance, there is a need or the urgent need for lifestyle audit. It is necessary we come out with a law which requires Ghanaians to explain where they are getting their money from. There are some people, you will agree with me, that they don't have any well-paid job or they have not been in office long enough to accumulate a fraction of what they have. These people may have to account to the nation and explain how they got their money. If these monies were not even earned through corrupt means, at least they might have evaded taxes, so they may have to pay tax.
That's a former Auditor General, Daniel Domelevo. For a legal practitioner, host of Newsfile and The Law on the Joy News channel, the current legal regime is not fit for purpose.
The Public Office Holders Declaration of Assets and Disqualification Act, 1998, Act 550, by which one submits a sealed envelope to the Auditor General, and only Shraj may open it only when there is a controversy and upon a lawful order to do so, is indeed a big joke, the former Auditor General asserts. This law, I repeat, without any equivocation, is the single most useless piece of legislation passed either by a lousy bundle of legislators or self-serving legislators seeking by law a right to conceal where they are envisaged by Chapter 24 of the Constitution, to disclose their assets.
That's host of Newsfile, the law and a legal practitioner, Samson Ladi Anyenene. Let's turn our attention to other stories now. And police in the Savannah region have picked up 3 persons suspected to have carried out the robbery which led to the death of an Accra-based lawyer in Bole Bamboy. Richard Badombia was shot dead after the armed robbers emerged from a bush as he travelled with 2 other family members. They were rounded up at their hideout with 2 others still on the run. Savannah Regional Police Public Relations Officer Inspector Jekum Owusu has been detailing events leading to the arrest. To join news.
After the incident that was on the Saturday dawn, the whole command from the Savannah Regional Command moved to the scene, and with the help of the intelligence unit of the region, we've been able to rounded up some 3 suspects, which we are profiling to see if they are the actual culprits. We have a target for about 5. Some people commit crimes and leave some traces. With the help of the intelligence unit, we've been able to get these 3, which we are still manhunting for other 2.
We are equally picking inside information that one of the 3 is a Benin national. Can you confirm or deny that?
Once investigation is still ongoing and 2 are still outside that we want to get them, we would like to hide certain things. After we profile them and we get a substantive information or material, we will let you know. As per the road, so we are augmenting our strength at that particular place. We are going to also erect or establish other snap checks to make it very visible.
That's the Savannah Regional Police Public Relations Officer, Inspector Ejekum Owusu. Let me take you to the Ashanti region now, Edrisu to be precise. And 1 more person has died in an accident which claimed the lives of 2 siblings on the Edrisu Bisiasi Road in the Ashanti region. Well, we are told by the police that the driver of the Honda CRV vehicle, Justice Ajoyi, who is in police custody, lost control of the vehicle and crushed the victims after making an unsafe overtaking. Ohiming Teria joins us with more on this. Ohiming, tell us about the 3rd victim.
Yes, Emefa, the 3rd victim has been identified as Amidu Mohammed, and according to police, he was actually referred after the accident yesterday and died while receiving treatment at Kopanochi Teaching Hospital this morning. And it has thrown the entire Bisiasi community into a state of mourning. And yesterday, what we learned was that some of the youth had attempted to set the accident vehicle ablaze, but it took the timely intervention of the district police MCCD to bring the situation under control.
That's my colleague Ohiming Teria with updates.
Safe driving saves lives. Drive safe.
Now to the Volta region, and Joy News checks have revealed that the longest bridge in Ghana, the Lower Volta Bridge, has been without streetlights for the past 5 years. The 600-meter long bridge on the N1 highway was tagged last year as a security zone by the Volta Regional Security Council after a secessionist Trans-Volta Togoland group threatened to attack the bridge. However, Joy News investigations reveal that the deployment of military men to the area has not addressed the concerns of public safety, as there's an entire blackout on the bridge. In a yet-to-be-aired report by my colleague Blessed Suga, put a spotlight on the Lower Volta Bridge, also known as the Suga Copper Bridge.
Well, so we are here on the Lower Volta Bridge. It's popularly called the Suga Copper Bridge. And for those of you who are not aware of this piece of critical infrastructure, it's a bridge that links and connects the national capital, Accra, to the southern parts of the Volta region. This very infrastructure we are talking about has been under threat by secessionist group Western Togoland, which earlier last year threatened to attack this bridge, and hence that prompted the deployment of a military contingent to constantly supply security to the area. However, one piece is missing out of that puzzle in solving the problem. There's completely no light here, and it's blackout here in the evening. And this has been the case for the past 5 years on the 600-meter stretch, which has seen many cars, many vehicles, many individuals, and many revelers use, and is beginning to become a concern for residents here in Sogakope. For those of you who are not aware of the area, it's in the southern parts of the Volta region, and where we are now stretches all throughout into the town itself. But you can come with me just to have a feel of how people with us here walking and using this area do not have any access to lights. They do not know what's in the dark out there. And you can just come along with me to have a feel of what's happening here. So there are some railings here. Initially, we understand that these railings never used to be. And in fact, some cars used to veer off the road into the river, but that has been addressed. What's the bigger problem here is that these cars that you see pass by could just run into anybody because there's simply no street light here on the...
It's very dangerous to be walking in the dark on the river. So you can easily get attacked. Even cars can just stop and then just attack you, put you inside.
Well, the Roads and Highways Committee are yet to give us details on this. But let me bring in the ranking member on the Roads and Transport Committee in Parliament, Governs Kwame Agboja, on this particular issue. We are grateful for your time here on the Midday News. I bet you've been trying to find answers as to why this bridge has no light for some time now, up to 5 years, we are told. What did you find?
Well, I used that bridge even just a weekend. But before then, Emefa, good afternoon to you and your choice listeners. This bridge is very strategic. Is our link to our ECOWAS neighbors to the east of the country. Indeed, it's quite an old bridge that requires regular maintenance. If we had money, we should be thinking of a new one. But there's one plan for connection through Volivo. But this particular one appears to be having a problem. If you were to use that route in the night, it's completely dark. And as a matter of fact, when you go to the eastern side of the bridge, you see a lot of immigration officers, police officers, and everything. And to the west side, almost there's nothing happening there. And I think for the sake of safety of motorists and even pedestrians, there ought to be the lights working on it so that cars can bypass each other safely. As you know, it is not a dual carriage. It's just a two-direction, single lane over the bridge. So it's difficult for me to understand why it is still difficult to just put the lights back because I don't think we need even 20 street lights. I don't think we need 20 street lights to be able to illuminate that bridge in the night. So I need to find out from the Highways Ministry why this is delaying and if we can do something as quickly as possible.
Well, we'll get the full report on the Joy News channel on the Pulse with Blessed Suga tomorrow here on the Joy News channel, also on our social media platforms. We'll try and get answers to why Ghana's longest bridge, the Sogakope Bridge, is still without streetlights. Has been in darkness for the past 5 years, we are told. Many thanks for your company. That's the ranking member on the Roads and Transport Committee, Governs Kwame Agboja, taking us on a quick break here on the Midday News, live on Joy 99.7 FM in Kumasi. We're on Love 99.5 FM. When we return, we have sport and then also hear from the Ghana Revenue Authority expressing satisfaction with electronic transfer levy after a month of its implementation. Do stay with us.
The implementation of the electronic transfer levy has generally been very smooth. We commenced implementation on Sunday, the 1st of May 2022.
Akwaba Magic Ebusia, brand new channel, Tia Roba, Emuno Tiao, Ewo DSTV channel 149 and Go TV channel 108. Enianom Akwaba Magic Ebusia, Eddie Nidia wa Ghanaian programs mu Baufi, Ebiti Sedidi, To Have and to Hold, Enyom Senior Kasie, series and talk show, Bemo Wakao TV set Nichi. Akwaba Magic Ebusia, Ewo DSTV access to your 50 Ghana cedis per and Go TV value to your 25 Ghana cedis per Ebusia Akwaba.
Thanks for sticking with the best. Let's do sports, Muftao. And people are being
last week,
exonerated.
Friday, the Ethics Committee of the Ghana Football Association dismissed bribery and corruption allegations against its former communications director, Ibrahim Sani Dara, and he has been speaking to Joy Sports about what the verdict means to him.
It means a lot. It means that I can carry on with my life, because in many instances it held me back in some ways, even if not anything, in thinking. I'm a human being, so sometimes I'll reflect. I've lived an upright life since I was born. I've tried my best to be a good human being, to be a good role model, to set standards, to ask people that work with me, whether those that are superior to me or junior to me, to live upright lives, and to be seen in this way robbed me of that authority, so to speak. It has now, by the ruling of the Ethics Committee, that confidence has been restored, and I can now carry on with my life.
Ibrahim Sani Dara says he cannot carry on with his life after the verdict of the Ethics Committee.
We'll see what happens to the others. Many thanks, Muftao. Now, the Ghana Revenue Authority says it is satisfied with the implementation of the electronic transaction levy so far. The authority says execution of the tax policy has been very smooth. There's more in this report by Ernest Ahimfo.
With our aim to track the first month of the implementation of the e-levy, we first visited the Ghana Revenue Authority, the institution mandated to do the collection. According to the Ghana Revenue Authority, the implementation of the levy has been very smooth so far. We spoke to Ms. Florence Asante, the head of communication and public affairs of the Ghana Revenue Authority. She urged all Ghanaians with grievances to report all challenges to the authority for them to be addressed.
So from the side of the Ghana Revenue Authority, the implementation of the electronic transfer levy has generally been very smooth. We commenced implementation on Sunday, the 1st of May, 2022. We had a lot of collaboration with what we call our charging entities. These are the banks, all the banks in Ghana. These are the what we call electronic money issuers, what we call payment service providers, and specialized deposit-taking institutions. We came into collaboration with all these institutions and organizations and businesses, and together with them, we planned how we're going to introduce the electronic transfer levy, and that accounted for the smooth introduction of the levy.
Meanwhile, the Ghana Telecommunications Chamber has asked all Momo agents to stop engaging in third-party cash-ins. Dr. Kenneth Ashigbe said the act amounts to tax evasion and is punishable by law.
We are now doing third-party cash-ins, which are wrong. So if I want to pay money to you, it is not right for me to go to an agent and say, I want to send money to NS, so put money on NS's account. That should not be happening. And so we are telling any of the agents who are doing that they should be careful.
Kenneth Ashibe there, ending that report by Ernest Ahimfo. I'll take you to the Volta region, where the Hohoe Municipal Director of Health, Gifty Asempa, has been highlighting the implications of period poverty, indicating that practicing improper menstrual hygiene could lead to infection and infertility among females. She was speaking at the World Menstrual Hygiene Day celebration organized in Hohoe by Pencils of Promise.
Menstrual hygiene has been a major concern in underserved communities in Ghana. Most young females lack in-depth knowledge, access to the necessary sanitary infrastructure, and supplies for menstrual health management. Speaking at a ceremony organized by Pencils of Promise to commemorate the World Menstrual Hygiene Day in Hohoe, the Hohoe Municipal Director of Health, Madam Gifty Asempa, highlighted the health implications of period poverty.
Poor menstruation hygiene, however, can pose serious health risks, like reproductive and urinary tract infections, which can result in future infertility and birth complications. Neglecting to wash hands after changing menstrual products can spread infections.
Well, they're Gifty Asempa ending Fred Kwame Asari's report, also ending the midday news here on Joy 99.7 FM. There's more news when you log on to myjoyonline.com. The top stories there. 3 suspects arrested in connection with murder of lawyer on Bole Bamboy Road. Also, Ghana seems to be getting worse under Ekufuado. That's according to Suleiman Abrima. Lands Commission begins tracing state lands captured in Sir John's will. You can read them for yourself. There's Living Word with Pastor Mensa Otabil up next. You do want to stay for that. I am Emefa Apawu.
I speaking to Miss Joanna Kuma?
Yes, please.
My name is Philip and I'm calling from MTN. Someone has just sent you money and we will need you to enter your PIN number so that we can put the money in your account.
Hey,
Dada, MTN will never ask you for your PIN. Never reveal your PIN to anyone under any circumstances. And if you are not sure, always check the number. MTN will only call you with a dedicated number 0244 300,000. Stay